between us two.
Good evening, everyone. Being 7:30 on Tuesday, February 4th, 2025, we're going to start the Braintree Town Council meeting. At this time, I'd like to ask Troop 138 to come in and present the colors, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could everyone please remain standing while we have a moment of silence for our men and women in uniform? Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Could we have the roll call vote, please?
Councillor Berica?
Here.
Councillor Flaherty?
Here.
Councillor Hume?
Here.
Councillor Maglio?
Here.
Councillor Moran?
Here.
Councillor Quilty will not be attending this evening. Councillor Reynolds?
Here.
Councillor Ringus?
Here.
Councillor Ryan?
Here.
Thank you.
And we're very fortunate to have Troop 138 here tonight. And I wanted to ask John Collier if he wanted to come up and say a few words and introduce the folks we have with us here tonight.
Good evening, Town Council. We really appreciate you for letting us come up here. And I'm going to introduce our Scoutmaster. He's Al Donovan, probably the most remarkable Scoutmaster I've had in the 30 years I've been doing this. And his Assistant Scoutmaster is Chris McCann, who's equally capable. These guys are the most phenomenal Scoutmasters that we've ever had. On that note, Al, you're on, pal.
This is great. I got some big shoes to fill.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Town Council, thank you very much for having us. Very much appreciate bringing my troop in. My name, as John said, my name's Al Donovan. I'm the Scoutmaster. I'm, the leader, but, the way we operate as a troop, we're definitely very boy-led, meaning anything these boys come up with, my job as an adult leader, along with all the other adult leaders, is to make it happen. We give them basically the tools and the support they need to perform projects. And, for instance, we had an idea, the kids wanted to go to New York City, so we got trips scheduled to New York City, Washington, D.C., and they said, well, we want to go to Chicago, and we figured out how to get that done, and then we went all the way to Wyoming and back. So at this point, the next big trip in April is the Grand Canyon. So we're now flying out in April, and we'll be spending a week hiking at the Grand Canyon. So, really what we tell the kids is you can do anything with enough time and money, and we've got both. We do a lot of fundraising, and through our service project work, we get a lot of connections. So, we get to do a lot of fun things. But without my adult leaders, none of this could happen. So, not only we have the creative minds of the kids, but it's my adult leaders that really make this happen. So, thank you anyway for having us. One of the other things I did want to talk about, as we're very active in terms of trips and things that we do, but we're also very active in Braintree, Weymouth, Randolph, the local area with service project work. And, we always tell the kids that, service projects are our currency as Boy Scouts. I'm sure you're familiar with some of the things we've done. Over the last, I think, 25 years or so, there's been about 30 Eagle Scouts. I know back in 2020, 21, we pushed 11 kids through in a year, just with local projects, things like, we had built picnic tables all for use within the town of Braintree. We had one of our scouts, they cataloged, identified, and were able to locate within the Plain Street Cemetery all the veteran grave sites. So, we've got that. The town was able to update their record. One of our scouts created a Veterans Memorial over at the Council for the Arts building. So, we're very in tune with, our scouts have really big ideas, not only in where they want to travel, but in the kind of service project work they want to do. So, we're definitely, giving them this, or trying to give them the support. To that end, we like to, if there are specific projects that the town council needs, or, other areas in the town, we're definitely, our boys are interested. We kind of run sort of two types of projects. One where they're like troop projects where the entire troop participates. And then there are other projects that are more focused on an individual scout, which are Eagle Scout projects. As I mentioned, we've had a bunch of Eagle Scout candidates. In fact, with us tonight, I think we've got 7 kids that are up, in terms of the rank advancement. They are between Life Scout and working towards Eagle, and as part of that, they're performing service projects. Within that, I think we've got Justin Peabody is working at the, his project will involve the Hilltop Cat Shelter over on the Braintree-Weymouth line. We'll be performing a bunch of repair work over there. We've got Cameron Culbert. Raise your hand, Cam. Cameron's going to be, the troop will be building benches for Osprey Overlook for the veterans over at Great Esker Park in Weymouth. We've got, Tyler Kinneberg is another Life Scout ready to go. We've got Matt Moore. We've got Joel Ricciarelli. We've got Chase Gallagher. We've got a whole bunch of guys that are stepping up, and we like to give them kind of an idea or help them flesh out their project ideas. So, we're definitely available and always looking to serve the community. So, and the other piece of this, we say we can do anything with enough time and money. We are very fortunate to have a benefactor in Braintree, Mr. Carl Kilmer, who supports all of our activities, not only financially, which is huge, but much more importantly, he meets with each of our Eagle Scouts independently, goes through them on, there's sort of a certain amount of paperwork that goes along with this, but Mr. Kilmer goes through all this soup to nuts with all of our Eagle Scouts and gets them prepared, not only for the project, but also for the leadership component that is such an integral part of being an Eagle Scout. So, that's sort of us in a nutshell. Carl, if you want to hop up. It's yours, sir. Mr. Carl Kilmer.
Thank you, Al. Thank you for having us. I'm just going to say a couple words about what a remarkable group of people these folks are and what they contribute to our community. My wife, Mary Ellen, and I live on Herwood Road. We've lived here for 40 years. And our 2 sons are Eagle Scouts. I'm an Eagle Scout, 1957. That'll make you feel young, right? And my favorite job in the whole world is being the Eagle Scout coach for Troop 138. As Al said, we've put about 30 kids through the program in the last 20 years. And my friend Gene Santarelli and I team up on this. And we sort of present ourselves as the guys you better perform for or they're going to get angry. You know, that's kind of our role in getting the kids to do the paperwork and all that sort of stuff. And I would just say that if you're 18 years old and you've already learned that if you work hard and keep your head down and stay focused, you can accomplish anything you want to accomplish. And that's a pretty big achievement for an 18-year-old kid. And to do that time and time again in our troop just is a very rewarding thing for me. So, thank you for your support, and thank you for having us here.
Real fast, I just want to really thank you guys for letting us come out here and get the exposure. And I've been talking to Shannon. She's going to come up with some Eagle projects that you guys may want to approve or disapprove. It's up to you. And I'm going to correct these 20-odd or 30 Eagle projects that have been done. Since I've been with the troop for 27 years, it's 47 Eagle projects that we've done. And we intend to keep going until at least I drop dead or something like that. And thank you very much, Town Council.
Thank you. John, hang on one second, John. Stay right there, John. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Councilor Hume?
Mr. President, Troop 138, all your leaders, so glad you're here. I was talking to Mr. Collier last fall, and he was saying about how there's a need for projects and whatnot. So I said, you got to come before the council and explain to us. Because we've had a couple of the Eagle Scouts with their projects come here and present them. So when, was it the 3 who were working on projects currently? When you finish a project, we want to hear about it. It was mentioned about fundraising. How do you fundraise?
Well, Mr. Kilmer is a very big part of our fundraising, but we also assemble 500 Christmas wreaths every Christmas, and we sell them at St. Clair's and St. Francis. And it was a successful year this year. We also clean up after the 4th of July celebration, the Braintree Week, up at the high school. And Sean Powers and the committee give us a large check every year. And the Nelson Chen Foundation gives me $2,000 every year for my participation in the tournament and just a donation to the boys, because they do a lot in this town. He just barely touched it with the community service. It's really, really over the top. I won't go through it, but it's extensive. But it's also required to advance.
So I know some of the projects around town, and I think a lot of residents will drive by a lot of these projects and not even know. I've known you've done the shed at the Ross School, at the high school, the athletic association on the fields. I don't know what it's called, but it's for all the bulletins, the displays, as was mentioned previously, the picnic tables, Eaton's Pond at the start of the walkway, the signage there, many, many more. So you're making a big impact in the town that without the Eagle Scout projects, the town wouldn't have these things, and they're a great addition to the town, huge asset. So I look forward to seeing what all of you are going to do in the future. Thank you to all your leaders, and share with your friends and all what you're doing, because it's important work. And keep your head down, as your leader said, and work hard, and good things will happen. So thank you all.
Thank you, Shannon.
Any other councilors? Councilor Baraka?
Yeah, I just would, to echo Councilor Hume's words, I'm so grateful for all the work that Troop 138 does throughout the town, and I think it serves as just another example of how impactful one person's work, volunteerism, ideas can be. It really has a ripple effect. The leadership of this troop in particular has demonstrated that over the years, and each one of the scouts here is part of that. And I hope that it will be contagious for the rest of the residents. So thank you so much for all the work you do. And I will also echo Councilor Hume's advice to please come back. Let us know how the projects go. We love to hear about them and celebrate your accomplishments and your accomplishments for the community. So thank you so much for taking the time today.
Meredith and Shannon and Charlie come to all of our Eagle ceremonies and they present, so we'll keep you informed.
Thank you. Councilor Rengus?
Thank you guys for being here. Thank you to the leaders. Obviously, much like coaching, this takes up a huge amount of your time and it's done on a volunteer basis. There are so many things that are pulling kids in different directions, which are all good things, whether it be dance or performances or different types of sports, because it's town sports, travel sports, club sports, but scouting is such an important piece too, and I know less and less kids do it, but it's great to see such a sort of a thriving group still. I see my man Ben in the front row, I believe, just crossed over from Webelos to Scouts. That's a big jump for you, and he'll be excited, I think, to learn from some of the older kids. I went through Boy Scouts as well. My dad, he was an Eagle Scout out of Troop 55 in Braintree, the Emmanuel Episcopal Church, and I was an Eagle Scout out of Troop 67 in St. Francis.
Wow.
And the memories that I have of not only just for myself, but the times I shared with my dad doing those things was amazing. So I think you guys keep at it. I think, like you said, when these kids can learn how to commit to something and achieve that by the time they turn 18, it's just such a huge thing. The 12 tenets of the Scout Law, if we could all sort of hold ourselves to those, I think we'd have a much better society nowadays. And I think the fact that you guys can hold those 12 tenets up, which trustworthy, loyal,
Can you quote
helpful,
the law? I'll be
friendly,
impressed if you
courteous,
do.
kind,
Let me
obedient,
tell you.
cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. So yeah, I'm still banging that.
I've been doing this for 27 years and I still can't get that down.
But I think I would echo everything everyone's done. If there's help you need with projects, let us know. We want to hear from them. It's such an important thing, and we'd love to be able to honor these kids in any way we can. So thank you for your commitment to the boys, and thank you, boys, for all you're doing, and enjoy it.
We appreciate it.
Boys and girls, that's right. My apology, yeah, boys and girls.
Councilor Moran?
New with Scouts?
Yeah. Look at her stand right up.
She's 11 going on 20, by the way.
Councilor Moran?
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you, Mr. President. And John, gosh, how far back do we go?
30 years.
Yeah.
We did soccer coaching together.
We were soccer
And we were
coaching
terrible.
together. Yeah. We were terrible. My father was one of the starters of Troop 138.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And he was formerly a Cub Master on Pac 96, which became 1496. And about 1968 or so, they started 138. And I was at the first Eagle ceremony that Troop 138 had for a kid named Kenny Abbott, who grew up on Winthrop Ave. And so Troop 138, my brother was like a charter member of the boys. He was 2 years older. So when the troop started, he was in the first class of kids that joined. So Troop 138's been near and dear to my heart for, ever since then. It's great to see that it's still going and still going strong. And thank you to the leaders who give so much of your time. I know that it takes you away from your family someday, and there are always other things that you can be doing. But you're making a difference in each of these kids' lives. And my dad's motivation for getting involved was he was in Scouts when he was a kid, but because he wasn't able to become an Eagle Scout because of a death in his family. So he wanted other kids to have that opportunity. And it's great to see that you're giving that opportunity that meant so much to him. So thank you for all your efforts, and kids, good luck, and thank you for all you're doing. Thank you.
Good job, Peter. My biggest regret is I was never a Scout. And I've been running this program for 27 years. I would be 14 today and be a Scout at the flip of a coin. But again, thank you very much. And I agree, thank you all you leaders. None of this would happen without these great fathers and mothers. I should say mothers and fathers, that was rude. In any case, thank you, Town Council.
We're not done yet, John.
Oh, you're
Stay
not?
right there.
Charlie, go ahead.
Councilor Reynolds?
Mr. President,
Sorry, Joe.
No problem, John, no problem. I'll keep this brief. Just want to repeat everything that's been said by my fellow council members. Truly, they understand the service and the fortitude of being a scout, what it does for you as individuals as you grow older, and it really makes you great citizens. And I really wish that there was a larger participation of scouts, just by the fact of, listening to those who have been scouts, and like yourself, John, I wish I had been a scout. I realized the importance of that once I joined the military, and there were many, many of my fellow soldiers who were Boy Scouts before me, and before they joined the service. And they were outstanding soldiers, good citizens, good people, and like I said, it really develops fortitude and focus, and I wish you guys the very best. And just one idea that I have you for Eagle Scout. This year in Massachusetts, we're celebrating the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. And with that, the Executive Office of Veteran Services is commemorating acts of service benefiting veterans across our state. And there are some ideas that I have that I'd love to talk to John.
Joe's going to come in and talk to us on a Wednesday night,
as well.
guys, so be prepared.
So thank you for all you do for our veterans and for all our other citizens in our community.
Thank you for having us,
Thank you.
everybody.
John, I just want to say thank you for coming here tonight. I want to thank everyone. And as every counselor will tell you, when we have the young men and women of Braintree coming in and telling us the wonderful things that they're doing, whether it's the Scouts or the athletes, student athletes, or the dance team, it's just it's our favorite part of the council meeting. So we really appreciate you coming tonight. I think I agree with the previous speaker, having the folks come in and talk about their Eagle Scout projects. It's wonderful, and we want to hear about every one of them, so please come back.
I'll make a point of it.
And tell us about them. And, the things you do that impact me is every year you folks come and carry the banner for the Braintree Town Council at the parade, and it's just like the nicest thing that you do for us, and we appreciate it so much. So we are a benefit from your hard work, and it's all, you've done it every year that I've been a counselor. I think, John, you've sent a couple of Scouts, and you're there anyway. So
In a wagon or two?
in a wagon. We had a wagon this year to carry the candy. It was a big, but it's something that, when you're talking about the work you do, wreaths at Christmas, cleaning up at the 4th of July, it's what makes the town great when we have young people doing these kinds of things. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Charlie.
All right.
I'm going to be rude, but I'm going to march the boys out. They have school in the morning, so you guys can continue your meeting. And again, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. All right, so while they're going out, I'm just going to ask any counselors have any announcements? Council Reynolds?
Mr. President, well, I've already done one, and that was this year is the Massachusetts 250 statewide initiative celebrating 250 years of America's independence in Massachusetts revolutionary history. The Executive Office of Veteran Services just launched a year-long campaign to inspire and celebrate acts of services benefiting veterans
Joe,
across.
can you hang on one second? Hey, folks, we're having a meeting, so can everybody take the conversation outside, please? Thank you, sorry. Not getting the boot, but sorry about that, thank you.
No worries. So I ask of my fellow counselors and anyone else in the town of Massachusetts, if you do have an act that is of service benefiting our veterans, families, please report it. Let's highlight that. Braintree is a great community that celebrates our veterans and supports them like no other community in our state. I also want to just announce also that there is a coming up in February 26th, there will be at Suffolk University, there will be a women's veterans town hall for all women veterans and the issues that affect our female veterans, our women veterans who have served this country proudly and has, unfortunately, we're trying to correct is that they have been underappreciated. And so, Any information on that, please, you can contact me via my email with Town Hall. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Reynolds. Any other councilors? Councilor Hume?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to congratulate the Braintree High School dance team for being in the top 10 in the nation. They went to Orlando, Wild World of Sports, so hopefully we can get them in this future. They just got back last night, I believe, so congratulations to all those young ladies. They worked so hard. It was always one of the most underrated sports when my kids were at the high school. They continue year after year after year, score high, place high in all their dance competitions, state champs multiple times. So congratulations to all the student athletes and coaches, and hopefully we'll be seeing them soon. I'll let you know.
Thank you. Council Maglio?
Thank you. The regular meeting of the East Braintree Community Action Coalition is on the third Thursday, which is February 20th. And we meet at 6:30 at the Braintree Yacht Club on Gordon Road. This month, we have a couple of exciting things on the agenda, and one of them is to hear from our state representative to hear about his priorities for the coming year. So everyone should please come. Everyone's welcome, and we look forward to seeing you. We try and keep our meetings to about an hour to an hour and a half.
Thank you. Council Rengus?
I think piggybacking on Councilor Hume, obviously celebrating the dance team. Our girls basketball team is also in rare form this year. They are now still number 3 in the power rankings for the state. They're actually, I'd rather be there. They're playing right now, and they'll be playing Friday night. And I would encourage everyone around to come to the Friday night game. The girls are playing excellent. It is also Braintree Youth Basketball Night, so all of our young b-ball players will be in attendance. We're trying to fill the gym up with blue and white, so it'd be a great night to come and celebrate the girls who are having a fantastic season. Also wanted to say thank you to Chief Cahoon, Deputy Chief Want, a variety of officers and detectives, Lindelhoff, Delaney, Jenkins, Locke. I'm missing somebody. Delaney, and those one. But we had a last Wednesday night, the Braintree Police welcomed some of the town councilors to a presentation on some of the training that they're doing with their taser systems, and sort of just an overview of what's going on down there and some of and how some of those things work. We got to put on some interesting helmets and sort of give a shot in the virtual reality world, which was definitely eye-opening. But thank you to them for sort of presenting that and letting us see sometimes where some of the budget that we're sort of approving goes to. I think it was a great night for the councilors that were able to attend.
Thank you, Council Rengus. Council Flaherty?
I want to put out a special congratulations for anybody who was not able to participate in the annual Martin Luther King Citizen of the Year celebration. This year's award recipient was Justine Wang, and she was recognized. She has been recognized for her work as the Chinese American Association of Braintree founder and president. And this has been met in Braintree with wild success. I've watched it grow. Like, it started big, and then it got even bigger, and then it got even bigger after that. And I think this is an idea that Braintree was really ready for. And I'm so pleased and proud that she was able to be recognized this year because, you know, Martin Luther King has a very famous quote. He says, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." And so, you know, what better way to demonstrate light and love for humanity than by opening their doors to celebrate a festival that has been celebrated in China since the days of antiquity. So it's a wonderful addition to Braintree's annual traditions. I really welcome it, and congratulations to Justine Huang for kicking off a wonderful new tradition for Braintree.
Thank you. Any other councilors? Council Moore?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would just want to remind folks that the Braintree School Committee is currently considering their options in redistricting, and there is a public comment session that is going to be held February 10th that is open for people to make their feelings known as to their preferences as to whether schools, quite frankly, may be closed or consolidated, and I would urge anyone, whether they are a parent of a school student or a resident, If you are concerned and want your voice heard regarding the potential closure of any school in Braintree, please make your voice heard. Contact the school committee. And the presentation that the consultant had is available online for anyone to view, as well as the follow-up school committee meeting where they discussed their budget and their financial forecast for the years coming ahead. So I would urge anyone that is concerned to please make their feelings heard about the potential for redistricting of schools in Braintree. Thank you.
Thank you. On that matter, Councilor Reynolds had sent me an email asking for us to have the mayor or someone from her staff come to our council meeting and give us an update on the status of possible school closing. So I'm going to have staff request that the mayor or someone be here at our next meeting to give that update. So thank you, Councilor Reynolds. Absolutely. Okay, are there any other announcements? Okay, our next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. We do not have any minutes to approve. The next item would be old business. 25001 Town Clerk Votes Act of 2022 early vote by mail opt-out provision or take up any action related thereto. I'm going to refer to Councilor Baraka, Chairwoman of the Committee on Ways and Means, for their recommendation.
Thank you, President Ryan. The committee met earlier this evening, and we are sending this to the council with a unanimous favorable recommendation.
Thank you. We have Town Clerk Jim Casey with us. Mr. Casey.
Thank you for having me this evening. But I first want to begin by thanking you all for your kind emails and cards during my absence over the past several months. And I want to publicly thank my staff, Debbie Starr, Jane Diora, and Eric Coca, for filling in 7 days before we kicked off the biggest election of a lifetime. And they did a wonderful job in making sure that everybody had the opportunity to vote. All the election results came in out in a timely manner, and it was just wonderful to be able to sit back and watch them execute for things that we've been training on for several years together. We've been together for 10 years, and I think that 10 years of experience really came to being during that unexpected event. But this evening, it may appear that I might be a bit premature to begin discussions on the next local election that is exactly 9 months away from today. That'll be November 4th, 2025. However, the Votes Act of 2022 provides the council with opt-in and opt-out authority relative to early voting, and the ultimate decision of the majority of members will impact my fiscal 2026 year budget that I must prepare for the upcoming budget hearings. State legislatures passed the Vote Act of 2022, which expanded early voting in person and early voting by mail to include local elections with opt-in and opt-out provisions, and it's decided by local officials. This report is intended to address the actions that may be available to the town council in the areas of early voting in person and then early voting by mail. In-person early voting is not required for local elections. However, the town council has the opportunity prior to election day to opt in for it, but it's contingent on a vote by the Board of Registers. On January 23rd, members of the Board of Registers held a duly posted meeting and by unanimous decision voted not to make a recommendation to opt in for early voting for the November 4th local election, citing historical low voter trends, turnout in local elections, as well as the ability to cast a ballot in person or by mail by absentee balloting. Early voting by mail is required for all elections. That includes special elections and primary elections, unless the town council votes out to do that. Municipalities are not required to send out vote-by-mail applications. However, they are responsible for all the costs associated with executing early voting, whether it's in person or by mail. I am recommending, as I did 2 years ago, that the council opts out of early voting by mail. Voters have the opportunity, as you can see in one of the charts I provided you, that early voting by absentee ballot is identical to early voting by mail. It's just a repetitive process, as you can see here. Early voting by absentee ballot actually provides voters more time frame to obtain a ballot. As soon as the ballots are delivered to my office, the next day absentee voting can begin. In addition, they can come into my office up until noontime the day before election to cast an absentee ballot in person. I just received recently the budget parameters here, and they're asking to level fund and find cuts where you can. The cost of doing the early voting could run in the neighborhood of $15,000. That would include the cost of mailing early voting by mail ballots to the voters. The cost of postage is $1.01 per envelope. For the November election, we mailed out over 7,000 early vote in-person ballots. And for the primary election, we mailed out a little over 4,200 of those same early vote by mail ballots. It gets an expensive proposition. Before we can mail out those ballots, ballot kits have to be built. I have to hire staff to build those, which takes quite a while to do that processing. And then at the end of it, when we get these ballots back, I have to hire additional staff in order to process these ballots. So my feeling and my belief, when you take a look at the trend charts of what the voter turnout will be for this upcoming election, the old-fashioned method of absentee balloting is a great substitute for the early voting. It works, and people would take a great advantage of all of that. Now, there's some people
So you're looking for a vote, Jim, for us
Yes,
to
I
vote
am.
for opt-out? Okay. All right. Are you all set?
Okay, yes.
Yep. All right. So is there a motion, so is any questions or any comments on this? Yep. Council Baraka?
President Wright, I just, to reiterate and hopefully clarify for residents who may be watching, so if you can't get to your physical polling place on election day, you still have the option to essentially vote by mail through the absentee ballot process. So the motion is a little bit confusing the way it's worded, but I want to make sure voters realize that they are not losing, they are retaining all the ways that they can vote are intact. And I also just want to add to the clerk's office, you know, for voting, it's 1 day a year. You're saying you're here prematurely, Clerk Casey, but I think it just goes to prove that your staff is working all year long to make sure that our elections are professional, they're secure. It's an effort that we can all be proud of. So thank you to you and your team, because this isn't a 1 day effort, this is a 365-day effort. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilor Baraka. Any other councilors with any comments? Do we have a motion on this?
President Ryan, I would move that pursuant to the Votes Act of 2022, that the Braintree Town Council exercises their opt-out provision for early voting by mail for the November 4th, 2025 local general election, or take any action relative thereto.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Casey. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is 02824, Council President Review Policies, Vacation Carryover, Compensatory, it's a mouthful, time, and overtime will take up any action related thereto. So we had tabled this motion, this policy back in December, and I had asked that I could be here to talk about it. I talked to Mayor Joyce today, and she asked that we leave this on the table. She's talking to KP Law about the impacts that this might have on not only the staff that are under the purview of the town council, but also the staff in the town as a whole. So I don't want to take this off the table as of tonight. I want to keep it on the table. So I'm going to not do anything, any vote at all. One of the couple things I wanted to let staff know about is with our staff under our town council purviews, if they're going to work comp time as the president of the town council, I'm going to approve it, working comp time. And the goal will be that our staff aren't working a lot of hours. They get to take their time off, and they, you know, all reasonable things where, you know, people shouldn't be working excessively if we can schedule it a little better. So any people working comp time, I'm going to approve it. And the goal is to let people take their time off and not have a situation where somebody's carrying over an inordinate amount of vacation time that might be problematic from a budgetary perspective. So just want to let you know that's what I'll be doing as the president of the council, and I think it's something that's the next person that's sitting in this seat will have to do as well. So I think it's something that maybe we haven't, we should have paid a lot more attention to in the past, and doing it, moving forward in a way where we're monitoring it. And part of the thing I wanted to do too is let every councilor know in advance where things stand on a periodic basis, give you information about accrual time and all that kind of stuff, so we're not hearing about things like at the end of the year. You get updated all year and you would know about it too. So so that's what I want to do. So that's what I'll be doing. So I'd ask that we keep this on the table for right now. I apologize if it's frustrating that we're doing that right now, but that's what the mayor asked me to do, and that's what KP Law has chimed in. They want to look at it too, so I'd like to just keep it on the table for right now. Councilor Moore.
Mr. President, I'll respect your decision, but I just want to give people background on this and let them judge for themselves. This was referred, this and vacation carryover was referred to the Committee on Personnel.
So, point of order, yeah. So we'd have to take it off the table if you want to keep talking about it. So you could make a motion to take it off the table if you wanted to, Peter.
Then I would move to take it off the table.
Okay, we have a motion. Second. We have a motion and a second to take it off the table. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? That's unanimous. Councilor Moran.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. This was referred to the Committee on Personnel, along with issues of vacation carryover and comp time. We had 4 meetings on this. At each of the meetings of the committee, the mayor's staff was present. The mayor's staff made several requests for amendments to the council's compensatory time policy, and we made them, despite the fact that the charter clearly states that matters of supervision of council employees are the purview of the council and not the mayor. It is separate. It is clear. Respectfully, the request for an opinion at this time of KP Law, in my opinion, is dilatory, disrespectful to the council, and a waste of taxpayers' money. The mayor is aware of the separation in the charter. Town solicitor is aware of it. I am a former town solicitor, and I am aware of it. We should just act on this or not act on this. I will respect the chair and vote to table it, but we need to come to some action on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Moran. Councilor Ringus.
And again, I'll respect the fact that KP Law wants their opinion, but I would sort of echo a lot of the sentiments that Councilor Moran just discussed. The charter is very clear. There's a separation of powers between the mayor's office as the executive branch, us as the legislative branch, and also the school committee as the educational branch. And although we can sort of have our opinions on what the schools might do, it is ultimately their purview on certain things that they're going to vote on, and we should respect that. And I feel that there is sort of a lack of respect when we're sort of, and I've watched and read some of the minutes from the personnel issues meetings, and it did seem like we, in some ways, bent backwards to appease some of the requests that were coming from the executive branch, where the charter is very specific. These are the employees of the town council, not of the executive branch. I think it unfair to continue to put this off when we have employees, and I do respect the fact that the council president has said that he would approve compensatory time. But I always say when we look at these policies, when we look at town council rules, it has to be a faceless person when we're looking at it. It can't be the people that we know in the roles, because at any point someone else could be in the role. And I think it's important for our employees to have that peace of mind that there is a policy in place. When something's in writing, it is set and it can be depended on. And to continue to push it off, I think, is sort of disrespectful to our employees who work very hard, as we just saw through the presentation of the town clerk and through the work that Clerk Semino does for us. So although I will, at this point, respect the wishes to have a legal opinion by KP Law, I do think there has to be action on this in the very near future, so that we can get this in a concrete manner.
Thank you, Councilor Reynolds.
Thank you, Mr. President. I concur with the two previous speakers in their position relative to the autonomy of this council, but also recognize that I understand the financial situations the town finds itself in. However, I think that in reading the proposed compensatory time policy, that the document is a good document. I think that it's practical. It addresses the reality of our limitations from a financial standpoint and a personnel and a resource standpoint. We do important business here, and the clerk of the council does a very, very efficient, thorough job. And in order to do that, that clerk needs the time to do such, and the preparation behind getting ready for these meetings, the follow-up from these meetings, and just the regular 8 hours of the regular work hours during the day is inadequate. There has to be a compromise, and a practical one at that. And I believe that this policy, as you have written it, it does exactly that. It meets those ends. And in all due respect to the mayor's office and certainly to the council president, I would feel very comfortable voting on this. Thank you. Okay. To this evening, that is.
Councilor Maglio.
Thank you very much. I agree with the three previous speakers, and I think that the idea that we have somebody who is working for the council, who reports to the council, who staffs 9 different people, who staffs all of the committees, is our parliamentarian. I mean, this is a pretty complicated job that requires a lot of expertise. And if it almost feels like we're splitting hairs over the comp time. And I would suggest that if the comp time policy is not something that the town is comfortable with, that perhaps we look at adjusting salaries. And if we're going to have someone take on a director level load of responsibility, then we should pay them at director's levels. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Flaherty.
I have a question. KP Law would like to review this document, and my question is, do they have a proposed timeline for how quickly they might review it? Because sometimes it takes a very, very, very long time for things to get through the legal process. And although you, Mr. President, have said that you would approve compensatory time that came across your desk because you feel that it's necessary in this capacity, I don't know who's going to come after you. And I think it's deeply unfair to the people that we are responsible for managing that for. It's deeply unfair for them to depend on the whims of whoever sits in the seat. So I would really urge this body to ensure that this gets voted on one way or the other, because it is imperative that the policy is in place for the people who work for us.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, what's the will of the board? You want to take a motion to table or motion to vote on it?
Out of respect for the chair, Mr. Chair, I will move to table.
Second.
We have a motion to table. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. Okay. The next item on the agenda is new business, and we have to refer several matters to the respective committees. Do we have a motion to do so?
So moved, Mr. President.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. Our next meeting, we've finished our business for tonight. Our next meeting is not going to be 2 weeks from now on Tuesday, February 18th, because that's school vacation, and there are some of the councils here that do have children that will be on school vacation, but I'm not one of them. And so our next meeting will be the week after that, on Tuesday, February 25th. I want to thank B-Camp for televising our meeting tonight, Bill Needham and Jerry Comic. And with that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. President.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That's unanimous. We're adjourned.